Appeal there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
12:45 hearing. Moved into the hearing. Does anyone?
Well, we just had an informal discussion about whether we should conduct this hearing before we have a chair and vice chair, or whether we should wait to have this hearing after we have appointed a chair and vice chair. And we decided that we should wait for this hearing until we have appointed a chair and vice chair. And so we would like to do that hearing or hearings at 1:30 today. Okay.
We need to recess.
Make a motion to recess the hearing until 1:30 p.m. today.
Second.
In favor?
Aye. All right, hearing.
Be heard. Go ahead.
Based on Adam having served as vice chair last year, I would nominate Adam as chair for this year.
I second.
Abstain. But we'll do a roll call vote on that, please, Ashley.
Aye.
Alden.
Abstain.
Same.
Aye. I would like to nominate Grant Trustee Trainer as vice chair.
I would second that nomination. Can we go to a roll call vote on that as well, please?
Abstain.
Alden.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. All right. Third resolution here. Reappoint Joni Mason as zoning commission member. I would make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please, Ashley.
Aye.
Alden.
Aye. Fourth, reappoint Amy Richardson as Board of Zoning Appeals member. I would make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please, Ashley.
Aye.
Alden.
Aye. And we'll reappoint Mr. Steele Smith as Board of Zoning Appeals member. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call vote, please, Ashley.
That's an alternate. Does it matter?
That's a great question, Steve. It does not mention alternate in the resolution, but we should probably add that.
Serving as an alternate.
Understood. Yeah, well, let's make that adjustment to the resolution. So let's do the roll call on that.
Aye.
Aye. And reappoint Chris Peroni as Board of Zoning Appeals member. Also an alternate, so we'll make that amendment to the resolution. I would make the motion. Roll call, please.
Trainer.
Aye.
Alden.
Aye. Okay, on to the section for fiscal. Do you have anything to add on it, or you want to run through them, Lisa?
Yeah. Approve the exhibit 1 for elected officials, employees and zoning committee compensation for 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
Alden.
Aye.
Excuse me? Could we see exhibit 1?
Yeah, now you can. Well, it's the same thing you sent me. You need to.
Well, I mean, last year we got it all before anything. So it's just,
Yeah, I'll make a copy right now.
Yes, sir.
Supplemental appropriations to allow me as needed to make supplemental appropriations within a fund at the legal level of control of the UN accounting program. All other transfers require approval by the Board of Trustees.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries.
Make a motion that the First Commonwealth Bank, Sunbury, Ohio, to be our depository for the township for 2027.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries.
Make contributions to the 2026 Ohio Employees Retirement System and Ohio Police and Fire Pension Plan based on current Ohio laws.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries.
Motion to approve me to make electronic payments with electronic signatures of trustees and fiscal officer.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Would like to make a motion to approve all 2026 POs, blankets, then and now POs. Trustees give me permission to execute POs, blankets, and then now POs on an on-needed basis throughout the year. The trustees and fiscal officer will have electronic signatures on all created POs, blankets, then and now POs.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, at what point do we,
Lisa, you can wait, Lisa, you can wait till after the meeting.
at what point do we post township financials on the website?
When I do a check run for the trustee meetings,
Okay, so it's
it's already been posted.
monthly throughout, right? I didn't know what the time schedule cadence was throughout the year.
And she's got annual yearbook.
All of it. Great.
As soon as I do a check run, I email you guys and then I put it on the
And then we
web.
post it up.
Yep.
Okay, on to zoning. Mike?
You want me to read all this?
Oh, only if you want to, sir. We can run through it. I didn't know if you had any color or character to add to it.
No.
Okay.
Let me, I've got it up. Apparently, the Sewell or Sexton, however you use the name, because on Hatch Road is pending sale. I mean, there was an auction.
Oh, you're talking about the Hatch Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had it at auction.
73,333. That's what they show.
That's the opening bid, right?
That, yeah, and it doesn't, it says that it is a pending.
Yeah, it's closed bid and yeah. I don't think that's closed yet. Has it, the bidding process on it?
It said, if I went to Realtor.com and it says pending, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that, I think it closes out the end of January.
Okay.
I briefly saw that, but yeah, it's
That's good.
definitely for sale. I'm sure that's gonna be a tear down.
Yeah. They even said that in the list.
Oh, did they? I didn't read
Yeah,
that.
they were honest.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll jump into these. So resolution 013, appointment of Township Zoning Review Board. Looking for a motion to appoint the Director of Zoning and Development and any member of the Zoning Commission Board and any member of the Board of Zoning Appeals to act as Township Review Team for zoning matters for 26. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 014, appointment of Township Representative to the DCRPC for 2026. So there was some conversation on this one. I mean, obviously, we want to make the motion to appoint Mike as the Township Trustee rep, or as the Township Representative. The conversation was David Jackson as the alternate. Is there any comment on that?
I think that it should be a currently serving trustee as the alternate.
Any volunteers?
I don't mind, I mean, I've done it.
Do we think it
I've
should be a member
I
of the
don't-
board, or
I
do we
mean,
think it should be a member of
I
staff?
don't have a problem. But I don't, again, what if, this is one of those cases, David asked that, if he could.
Mhm.
But, I guess I don't have concern either way. He's got a lot of knowledge, but then again, he's gonna be gone 2 months. And if Mike wasn't able to attend during the next couple of months,
Mhm.
we probably.
Can it be that a trustee shall serve as alternate
Yeah,
as opposed to a specific name?
Well, and my question is, does it need to be someone from the board, or can it just be a member of staff? Point being, Director of Zoning is not a member of the board, it's a member of staff.
it can be anyone that the board designates. That's the guideline.
So the thought that I would throw out there and open to conversation though is based on involvement in zoning activities. I would wonder if that might be something Ashley would want to look at.
Fourth Thursday, I think.
Usually, unless something comes up.
And-
I'm not-
I would be willing to.
But that's only if I can't make it,
Okay.
obviously.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and we had actually talked about me possibly tagging along to see how their meetings run since I run the other meetings, so I think that would be.
It's very exciting.
There,
I'm sure that it is.
They are.
If it is any,
We're on Zoom.
since I'm already attending, I am ready to party, let's go. So
I've already had her reading the book, so the bar's set really low anyway, as far as excitement, so.
don't- I will have my coffee in hand. But yeah, I would absolutely do it, so I'll probably go to a few meetings
Good.
with him just so I can see how they run before I would do it on my own, but absolutely.
would you want to make then a separate resolution or two resolutions?
Just put her name in there.
Yeah, I would just amend the resolution to make Ashley Zaruba the first alternate. Obviously, no offense to Mr. Jackson, but it is an alternate position that we're talking about there, and I think Ashley's involvement in the current zoning activities, it just kind of makes sense to put her in that position. So I would make that, I would make the motion. Do I have a second?
Second,
Those in favor? All right.
aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thanks, Ashley. 015, approval to pay POV zoning mileage for 2026. So this identifies zoning inspector, zoning secretary, representative or alternate to the DCRPC, township zoning board members and alternates outside township mileage while driving a personal vehicle as it pertains to zoning at the rate of 72.5 cents or dollars. So 0.67 cents per mile from 2025. So that's gone up a little bit. That specifically when the zoning vehicle is not available. Do we run into a lot of those situations, Mike? I didn't think so. So just as long as that reimbursement is submitted the correct way. Do I have a motion?
Someone,
Second?
Second,
Those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
aye.
Motion carries. Yes, ma'am.
If I were to need to go to Delaware County, I think John knows what I'm going.
I know where you're going.
I'm
Yeah.
not driving all the way to Harlan Township to pick up that car to drive to Delaware when I am halfway to Delaware from here. So would that,
Qualify.
even if it's sitting in the parking lot, I don't wanna drive all the way out here to drive all the way out there. That seems so silly.
Well, let me ask this, and I'm not to, but if you knew you're gonna go, if you were okay at leaving your car, just, would she be able to take that when she left, go home, then go from there and then bring it back the next morning?
I mean,
As opposed to,
we're not looking at a lot of money, you know, I don't.
that's probably the way she's gonna go to Delaware County anyway, is up 605, right past her house.
I guess that I would say, hey, we'll just reimburse you to drive from your house to the meeting and back to your house, as opposed to take
Taking the
The-
car, leaving it
the
at the.
township vehicle home, then I would say just, we'll reimburse you.
I don't think it occurs that often,
Yeah, no, Mike goes to pretty much all of them, I mean,
so.
But even if you were to attend with Mike, let's say, as you mentioned, to see how these, to observe,
yeah.
then you should be reimbursed for those miles that you drive. That seems to fall under this.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure so that I wasn't turning it in. You guys were like, the car was sitting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Cool, thank you.
016, approval to pay registration fees, mileage, and other expenses pertaining to zoning courses for 2026. Do I have a motion?
Second,
Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay. Zoning fees. Do we need to go through and mention each one of these individual for sake of this conversation?
No,
Now,
So then I would ask for a motion to approve the zoning fees.
second,
Moved in second. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, so we're on to trustee business here. 018, approval to pay elected officials mileage for 2025. This is the same mileage identified in the zoning section.
So moved.
Correct. Thank you for that note.
Thanks.
Those, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. 019, approval to pay registration fees, mileage, and other expenses to attend the state convention in Columbus for 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. 020, approval to set Board of Trustee meeting and date and time for 2026. So the resolution is worded to carry on the same cadence. I know there was some conversation about changing the time, although that might add difficulty to some staff members. So I wonder if there was any more communication needed on that.
John, have you discussed it with, other
The-
department?
Yeah, again, my motivation is to not go as late as perhaps we have in the past. And so I would be open to a 6:30 as opposed to, anyway, I tossed out 6:30, gain 30 minutes. If that doesn't provide too much hardship, it seems reasonable. It gains us 30 minutes and maybe gets us out of here at 8:30 as opposed to 9. That would be my proposal, but I'm ambivalent.
Any other comments from staff present or other committees?
I
Yes,
would
sir.
propose at our organizational meeting for the BZA that we move from 7:30 to 6:30.
I think it's great.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure that'll carry.
Yeah.
Understood.
And even the zoning commission, these late start times, I think are back to kind of our agrarian lifestyle, and we really probably need to change these late 7:30 meetings.
Wow,
But Joe,
let's zoning, we got 2 members here.
yeah,
But still work further away and would have difficulty meeting a 6:30 start often. I've been pushing for the 7:30 start still. Especially in the summer, I work all over the state, and it takes too long to get back here.
We've had a discussion about it every year, possibly. And as Joni's pointing out, it's always been voted to keep it at 7:30. And it's primarily for the reasons that she's just identified. For me personally, it doesn't make any difference. And I think but I know that a couple of the other members prefer the 7:30 start time as opposed to making it earlier.
Mr. Chair, we've got, I think, the motion as far as.
yeah, so I would still hold to the 6:30 start time. I'd love to see 6:30 in.
As I said last time, I don't, whatever the two of you feel comfortable, I'm good with. Adam, so. For Alan.
Yeah, that's kind of. So I think what I'm hearing from the majority of the staff is either indifferent to moving it up 30 minutes or in favor of moving it up 30 minutes. Vice Chair of the Board made the suggestion to amend the motion to move it up to 6:30 rather than keep it at 7. So I would say, I wonder if there's a second for that motion.
You're okay with it?
I would not
I'll
go against it.
second
So the resolution 020 has been motioned and seconded with the amendment to move it to start time of 6:30 PM, keeping the same third Wednesday of each month. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 021, approval to set the organizational meeting of the Board of Trustees for 2027. It's listed as Wednesday, January 6th, 2027 at 1 PM in the afternoon. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Okay, John, you want to run point on these?
Sure. Resolution 26-022, approval to appoint Ashley Zaruba Cemetery POC for 2026. I move.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 26-023. I move the approval of the cost of opening and closing of grave sites to the public for 2026 to the proposed schedule that's listed here. For the point of record, urn opening and closing 300 and 450. Grave opening and closing 700 and 1100, and to reflect this isn't a change from 2025 fees.
Second.
Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Resolution 26-024. I move the approval for purchase of grave sites for 2026 to non-residents for 1100 and to residents for 600.
Do we have, you have a note here of also allowing township employees with 5 or more years of tenure that do not live in the township to purchase. Is that existing or is that an amendment to current township policy?
Existing.
Okay. I believe there was a motion. Was there a second?
Thought I moved. Did you move?
I move.
I second.
Seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 26-025, the approval of footer prices for 2026 to be set as follows. $1.55 per square inch of surface area, which is a 5-cent increase over 2025, and to be 32 inches in depth, and add 2 inches of length and width for a 525 minimum.
So that's a motion. correct?
That's a motion.
Second.
I assume these prices are driven by subcontractor costs.
Yeah, so I actually talked to Stacy Plaster today. I had gotten his letter in the mail. And I called him because his says 90 cents. His price last year was 85 cents. They went up 5 cents to 90 cents. We charge the extra to, for any kind of repairs that we need to do later on.
Sure.
Put that away. So we were 150 last year. So his suggestion, and I was already kind of thinking it was to raise ours to reflect what they did.
Okay. Resolution's been moved and seconded. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then resolution 26-026, the approval to subcontract with Stacy Plaster, DBA CNS Restoration for footer installation.
I have a question on that. So last year that matched the same price that we were saying the footer price for us was gonna be. I feel this resolution should reflect his actual contracted price. So since he contracts with us 90 cents, should this say 90 cents? And then that last resolution was what we are charging residents.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so are you stating that resolution 02?
26 should say 90 cents, because that's what Stacy is.
026 is approving the contract with the subcontractor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, with the contractor.
Should that is on.
So, yeah, I think that should be amended to reflect what we were paying the contractor. Lisa?
With that.
Well, is that not why we have the difference of price in resolution 025? Right, so 026 is essentially just approving the expense to the contractor. So kind of got those out of order, but I mean, it makes sense. So, John, I think that was a motion to approve the resolution with the amendment.
Yes.
Second.
Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
before we get to the next category, addressing Mr. Eisenbrau's question as far as the start time of the BZA. I don't think we covered it, and we don't normally set that time. I don't. So.
Said it at the organizational meeting, and I'm not sure everyone will agree with that, but that's going to be my proposal. If not, that at least bring it forward to 7.
Sure.
So you.
But I don't
you'll
believe we
discuss
have
it
to
with
ask you guys for
PTA.
your permission.
No, you're saying you're gonna bring it up at your own
That should
organizational
be
meeting.
the organization.
Good on that, Bob?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Sure. Okay, resolution 027, approval of contact person for facility use. Looking for a motion to approve Ashley Zaruba to now be the contact person, to be contacted at Ashley's email address, which will be posted on the website, or admin@harlemtwp.com. The Grange Hall has been deep cleaned quarterly in 2026, recommendation of 4 times per year. Currently, there's no charge for the community room or the other shelter rentals. Any comment or motion on that resolution?
Second.
Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. 028, approval of township facility use fees for 2026, listed as $100 for residents, $150 for non-residents per day, plus $100 refundable deposit. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then 029, approval to have Grange Hall cleaned quarterly, at a cost not to exceed $250 per cleaning. Do I have a motion?
Sorry, can we add on there, like an as needed also, in case we have, like in December, we had 3 parties every single weekend. And I do feel that everybody did a really good job cleaning it up as they went, but I do think it would have been helpful to maybe have like a halfway through.
Lisa, what budget do these cleaning expenses typically come out of?
I have to look it up.
I wonder if it,
So, once a quarter.
I wonder if it might just make sense to have this type of thing rolled into a facility's budget so that, the board doesn't have to approve every cleaning. Well, then that would make sense. I wonder if we could just assume that financial responsibility within that budget rather than the board having to approve. Because if we approve this motion that approves the quarterly cleaning, the as needed though, that goes either one direction, one of 2 directions. You come for approval for every as needed cleaning, or you can say we'll clean it as needed, which could technically be every other day. Right. So we have to, I would say, set a maximum amount of funds for cleaning of this one particular facility, or, we budgeted into that same financial responsibility. Does that make sense? I don't know if you have a preference on what way to handle that.
Yeah, we can, because we haven't done permanent appropriations yet.
Okay.
So we can include that in the contracted services.
So in lieu of approving a resolution for cleaning of Grange Hall, it would be my opinion that Ashley and Lisa work together to make that cleaning part of contractor services budget.
I don't have a problem. Who's going to, do you go out there on a regular basis? Or?
I go and check it, especially like after a ton of rentals and stuff, I'll go back out and make sure and honestly, everybody really does a good job keeping it clean, but I mean, when you have 12 to 15 in 1 month, that's a lot to keep there. So, I just think that in our really busy months, that's gonna be more helpful, especially like in the spring when it's raining a lot, trucking mud, things like that. I think an extra clean in like April, May would probably be a great idea.
And you can be more proactive with the cleaning in response to usage if it's built into the budget and you don't have to seek approval.
Yeah, I don't have to wait 3 weeks. We had a party that got real messy to be like, hey, can we get it cleaned from 3 weeks ago? It feels so.
So I don't know, like I said, I don't know if you gentlemen feel differently, but I would just.
Completely.
Okay.
Just move that out.
And you want me to bring that approval of cost for like the next month's?
Yeah, I think you just communicate it with Lisa and she would just include it in the appropriations.
Yeah. We shouldn't have to deal with it here at all, except when we approve the budget.
Mhm. On to fire, chief, you only have one resolution on here to improve the inspection fee. Do you want to cover that?
It's just nothing's changed from last year. We actually instituted that several years ago with anticipation of the growth. And we have actually had a couple developers who have submitted papers like they're supposed to and paid. So it does work, and we will I think we're going to see some more solar fields. We're actually tracking a lot of the solar stuff that's getting in, and people are getting to the threshold where they're gonna have to be inspected by us and permitted, so. It's just, and it's all based off of, Monroe Township and everybody around us. We all try to charge the same amount, so depending on where you are, it's not, for the builder, it's not confusing.
Sure, makes sense. And Ashley, presumably we can just include that fee schedule in the packet for the minutes of this meeting. I mean, I know we posted anyway, but so pretty simple. Do I have a motion for resolution 030?
Second.
Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries. Okay, we'll cover maintenance. Jason is sick to. Oh,
Oh,
perfect. Thank you. Would make a motion to reconvene for the zoning amendment hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please, Ashley.
Holiday,
Aye.
same.
Okay, so we are back into the zoning application amendment hearing. So this is resolution 25-1015T007. Receipt of the zoning application HTZC 25-14. Amendment of zoning articles. Somebody help me with the Romans. 27 and 28. So looking for a motion. We received these the commission made the recommendation to the trustees on December 1st, 2025. The trustees received the packet on December 17th. Hearing was advertised on December 18th on the township website, calendar, and both Facebook pages. Community sign and the back door for the legal amount of time. Both of the amendments are in the packet. Any communication conversation?
Did we hear back from regional planning?
So. It didn't get submitted to them. We were working with Scott. Scott normally submits, and I looked at December's and it was not submitted. So I am submitting it to them. But Scott was the one doing the edits, so.
Yeah.
I would assume Delaware would probably agree with what Scott did.
That was my next question. Comments from anybody?
They're minor things. I mean,
All the changes were made to basically bring us into compliance with current practice and the ORC, and that was the recommendations that we asked for from Delaware County Regional Planning Commission. And then we did get a recommendation for change from the BZA to bring back, to put some language in that would make their language consistent with what's in the zoning commission. So that was one additional change. All the changes on your red line copy would show those changes, assuming you got the red line copy.
We did.
We did.
Any other comments?
I have read first 5-1015-007.
Oh, that would be because I copy and pasted.
All right. Correct resolution number should be what, Ashley?
7.
T
What
007. 040. Thank you. All right, if there's no further comment, I'd ask for a motion.
Second.
A motion moved and seconded. Roll call, please, Ashley.
Holiday,
Aye.
Greener.
Aye.
All right, we'll move back into organizational section of the meeting. Jason is out sick today, so we'll cover these maintenance resolutions. So 031, approval for equipment replacement schedule. Estimated replacement cost listed here at 350,000. Lisa, any comments on that?
well, not replacement for this year.
Right, he's got 3 and 5 years listed here. I mean, it,
years? We've done this, I think, for 4 years now. And saved zero money. So I'm not sure why we keep putting it on here if we're not gonna put any money in the capital for this.
So what is prohibiting us from putting money into capital?
Nothing. I mean,
A lack
what
of,
we're trying to save for the building.
is there any reason why we can't put both money toward a building and put money toward equipment replacement this
Yeah,
year?
you'll just have to let me know how much you wanna put towards each.
So this is just, we need to do this administratively when we approve the budget.
Yeah.
Correct? And is 350 a number that you're comfortable with, along with the funds that we want to put aside
Well, no,
for the
we're not
building?
gonna- We're not gonna do 350,000.
What's the
One
recommendation?
shot.
What's the recommendation?
Well, I don't know yet. We don't know what our permanent is and the other expenditures that we have in the appropriation.
So is this resolution appropriate? Isn't this something that we should simply make a decision when we approve the budget?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm aligned with that. It's,
Yeah.
Years and
well, and I can understand the need and justification for an equipment replacement schedule. I guess I'm just trying to figure out how that relates to dollars and cents as it impacts the budget.
because we transfer out of general fund into capital. And we can have it up to 10 years in capital to save for major purchases like this.
Mhm.
Where it doesn't hurt us in our funding for the year.
Sure.
So we it's like a savings account.
Hmm.
I'd also like, maybe put a schedule. I
Sure.
mean, because we don't know.
Well, and understand the aging of the current assets, right? Because I know there's been communication around trucks, but
Is it gonna be the dump truck first, or is it gonna be the backhoe
Mhm.
first, or is it?
So I would be inclined, unless someone feels differently, to again just omit this resolution,
Yeah.
or at least pass it. And then I would want to make sure though that we're having this conversation with Jason and the maintenance team during the budgetary process. And I also wonder, Chief, like when it comes to asset management and kind of understanding the aging of those things, if that might be a practice that I'm sure the fire department has a great practice for that on the fixed assets. If that we might be able to just duplicate the best practice into what we're doing with maintenance. 'Cause I mean, obviously, big differences between an engine and a snowplow, but still a big
The
truck.
biggest thing is too, is we, on our asset management, the larger ones, now that we're in good shape, we're not paying much attention to those, but it's the equipment, the turnout gear, the air packs, it's things that get used more regularly
Right.
and harsher that are part of our program. So, but that doesn't mean that can't be like a new snowplow or a new piece. Yeah.
Well, and for Jason's purposes, and he's not here, so I won't get too far into it, but even the lawnmowers, like everything like that, we need to get really specific as far as how we're aging that equipment. Thanks, Chief.
So just from my clarification, and this is not a ding on past boards, of which I was a member of a past board, but why have we failed? And maybe failure is too strong a word. Why have we neglected to set aside these funds every year?
Because of the past communication of trustees not communicating with me on what they were gonna bring to trustee meetings. So it made it hard for me because I didn't know the expenditures prior. We never have done budgeting either in the past 5 years, except we started last year. And then we started this year. So now we've got a better handle on expenditures of what's going to be expected, the expenditures. So that kind of helps the budgeting a lot more.
And so when we go to approve this budget for this year, then we should expect to see money set aside for building and for equipment replacement, both as part of that.
Well, we hope to.
For the, is it capital fund?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, it just depends on the budgeting of how much funds we're allowed to budget. and what expenditures we're gonna have. You know, like the roads is 265,000.
Right.
Well, if we don't have enough in gas taxes to cover it, where's it gonna come?
Right.
So it's juggling everything to see how much we have left over to be able to put into the transfer out. And see, like in November, if we can transfer out to the capital that set aside amount. So I can't give you an answer right now.
But you would, at the end of this month, then we should have a more concrete.
Well, yeah, I'm working on the financial statement. I need to do, I started that, working on that. I just opened up 26 with temporary appropriations, just finished 25, but I haven't closed 25 yet. So once I get the financial statement done and get that implemented to state auditors with the reports, then I can close 25, then send my cash summary fund up to Delaware auditor's office to get a new certified certificate for 26. Then we can know what our budgeting is.
Because I know that we did say we wanted to set aside, I think, $100,000 for building in 25. 150
And we did that.
for building. So that was set aside. That is,
I transferred.
that's already been transferred.
That's all right. We got
Okay.
100,000.
And so what will happen here is then you will say to us, hey, I think going into this next year, you should be able to set aside this amount and this amount at the end of 26 for capital improvements. Am I thinking?
As long as we have enough funds
Right.
to do the projects or
Right.
what we would like to do this year.
And so are you looking for us to say, hey, Lisa, we want you to set aside X number of dollars? Or are you expecting to come back to us to say, hey, I think you'll be able to set aside this much money?
I'll be coming back to you guys after I do a permanent appropriation budget and say, look, this is what we can do.
Okay.
I feel comfortable doing this because I don't know what's gonna happen in November. Are we gonna have that property tax?
Right. And so if you would just come back with one number,
Right.
and then we can decide how to divvy that up
Right.
between equipment and building.
Right.
Okay.
You've given us, we've given a wish list.
Yes.
at this
Right.
point, So.
Okay. That provides clarity for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Great. Resolution 032, approval for Henderson Trucking for gravel and hauling charges. I don't know that there's anything noteworthy here. Any comment, or I would accept a motion.
I move.
Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Resolution 033, approval on crop rent 8.8 acres. So this relates to Mr. Jackson, Dave Jackson submitted to the board a new contract for 8.8 acres that he farms. I think it's an increase of $800 or $200 monthly. So that would move it from 195 to 200, excuse me. Is there a motion?
Second.
Roll call, please, Ashley.
Holiday.
Aye.
Trainer.
Aye.
Okay, gentlemen, anything else organizational before we move on? I think we wanted to talk about potentially adding some sort of compensation to a couple of different committee chair positions. One that was very important to me, and Lisa, I tagged you on an email on this one yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to look into it or not. Don't know that we need an answer right now, but wanted to bring it up. But with the chair of the communications committee, that was a big one to me. And which one did you mention specifically? Dave for Parks, right. So I think there's two chair positions right there with township committees that are not compensated for the time as some of the other ones are. And so we wanted to look in that as far as making something that is copacetic to the other positions. Something very uniform, something that makes a lot of sense. And so again, I know that those kind of conversations need to happen in advance to the meeting. So I just wanted to make sure that we had that on the radar to maybe approve sometime soon.
Suggest having an executive session to you for.
We could do that.
That's gonna be, if they're gonna be employees. And how they're gonna be compensated.
Sure. No, I think that makes sense. We can discuss that a little bit further. Anything else on organization? Okay.
Move to adjourn the organizational meeting.
Well, yeah, organizational adjournment has been moved. Do I have a second? Second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries. Okay, so we'll jump right in to the regular meeting at 1:45, if it matters. Lisa, we got fiscal office on here first.
Okay, December 2025 financials of the appropriation status and ledger has been emailed and posted online. Approve the 2025. It's actually only vouchers, which is electronic payments, voucher number 275-2025 through voucher 287-2025. Total amount $167,158.31.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Next one is to approve the 2026 warrants. According to the payment listing report, starting with warrant number 14191 through warrant number 14204. Total amount $25,209.13.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Actually, just a couple, on 034, just amend the title of that resolution to only reflect vouchers, and then on 035 to only reflect warrants. Trustee business, resolution, anything else, Lisa, before I move on? Thank you. Just want to double check. Resolution 036, approval to pay 2026 membership dues to DCRPC. Those dues for 25 were 75 cents a person, 26. Looks like it's the same. Is that correct? Based on the language of the resolution, Ashley, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. So it doesn't look like a change. The total amount there, $3,734. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Those in favor? Aye. Carries. 037, approval to form a resident committee for town hall planning. Anybody have a comment on this?
Basically, it would be setting up a committee of residents and employees to look into the potential, and I say potential, of planning for a town hall. Increase our space, and I think everyone knows at this point, maintenance department doesn't even have to come here for the Grange if they want to use the restroom. Trustees don't have someplace if someone comes in to meet with them, unless Mike's out or, ask Ashley to leave her off or something of that nature, if it's confidential nature. So it's not getting any less to build. And again, I would like to see volunteers from the community that have backgrounds. We have an architect that drew up designs for a situation with zoning that, perhaps he would be willing to help volunteer to do some planning. There are people in this township, developers, that are used to building buildings, HVAC people, things of this nature. So it would be a group that would get together to look into the possibility of building a structure. Where we put it is another question. Costs involved, obviously. So that's in our strategic planning. This is something that goes along with it.
I think it's a great idea. I'm curious if there has been any thought yet to this point as far as who would facilitate the meeting, what the, volunteer process would look like, because I feel like there might be a lot of people that are interested in input there. Would we do a process similar to how the steering committee was formed?
And this is why I brought it up now instead of our regular meeting on the 21st, because I'd like to put something in the newsletter that of people who would respond that they'd be willing to volunteer.
Mhm.
And then we would select a committee. I would gladly head it up as far as from a trustee perspective. And again, anything that would be done would be subject to, obviously, the board approval. But at least we get a start at this point.
John, I know the strategic planning process has been near and dear to you, and I feel like this might be just a logical next step because it's been something that we've known that we want to do for a long time as far as improving the township infrastructure. To me, it's the facilitation of the group, I think is probably going to be the most important things involving Holly, involving Cryle, those opportunities. Not saying that we need to, obviously. I'm just curious how we see all that falling into the current activities.
So I guess, what I'm wrestling with is, okay, you've got immediate needs that everyone recognizes. And then you've got this strategic kind of big long-term planning process that's not looking at the immediate near term, but it's really looking at 10, 25-year time frame. And so my hope would be that as this group looks at meeting this immediate need, that as much as we can, we align this effort with the bigger overarching plan as well. And so that whatever's created, designed, decisions are made, they're thinking long-term. The long-term keeps happening, right? So you go to the next iteration of planning. And I guess recognizing, hey, whatever happens here isn't going to happen fast enough. I think that's what's driving this. Is that correct?
Yeah, costs are.
Yeah, it's not
are
getting cheaper.
escalating dramatically,
Yes.
and there's no question we're gonna need the space.
Yeah. I would hate to see us design and build a space that we decide that some other board decides 10 or 15 years from now that was short-sighted and we're going to have to use it for something else and build new. That's the question in my mind, and that's what I hope that this group thinks hard about. I think that Crossroads or Cryle could certainly help us in this endeavor. We've got Crossroads on contract for the next 6 months. I know they're helping with parks. They could probably help with this group. We might as well put them to work. Why not? And I think Cryle is helpful because as you communicate this to the community, that's very important, and they can help with that. So we've got some expertise.
Not making a recommendation or a resolution, but just throwing it out there, because this was you put this on here, right?
Yes,
And so,
I put in 2019, I also
oh, yeah.
added as.
Well, and so I definitely think that it will be a priority. And again, back to where I started, just throwing this out there. 2 thoughts. One, I would love to maybe get Holly's input or Holly and Angela's input on the correct way to kind of facilitate, not to say that this is wrong, but the most impactful way to facilitate the resident feedback on how that should go, how maybe that falls into everything that we're already doing. That being said, though, I don't know that there's any issue with you forming a group of community residents to give the feedback for that. I don't know that it's necessary to create, pass via resolution, a Harlem Township Town Hall Committee to get that kind of feedback.
If it's an official committee,
Well, and let's dig into that a little bit, right? Like if it's an official committee, AKA public meetings, making recommendations to the
Yeah.
board, all of those
it will
things.
be open meetings, any resident that wants. It's gonna be open and welcoming people to come in.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna speak for anyone else. My thoughts are it would be a multi-purpose building. Right now, if we have a community-wide meeting, we have to check that the church isn't being used.
Yeah.
We don't have a place, we better not have more than 75 people, because fire chief will close the doors off at this point. You know, I envision a multi-purpose facility that can be used for many different purposes and repurposed if at some point, you know, the township looks at doing something different, in line with what John is
Hmm.
saying.
Did we have a resolution for the formation of the steering committee that assisted with strategic
I'm
planning?
almost certain we did.
I don't recall.
I don't either. Lisa, actually, I don't know if either of you recall off the top of your head.
I think we formed it.
Yeah. Any kind of committee that represents Harlem and the trustees need to be approved
Good.
by the trustees.
Agreed with that statement. Yeah, my comment was, are we at the place and time where we need a formalized committee to discuss a town hall space?
I would feel more comfortable that the understanding of, I mean, otherwise I can just set a separate committee and go through the civic association, so we don't have to pay a fee when we meet at the Grange or, you know, if the township believes that this is something that is going to be necessary.
I like that you said multi-use that can be repurposed.
Mhm.
I like everything about that sentence.
Well, and that's the whole idea.
I'm along with that. So, I mean, before we move on the resolution, I don't have any issue, moving the resolution. I just wanted to clarify on how the tactile.
When we create a committee, when we formally, we immediately begin to set expectations. And so I think we have to recognize that. Okay, we're gonna start marching down a path. We've begun to set aside funds for it. And as long as we're able and willing to manage those expectations and we're as a team committed to this, I think that's very important that this sets things in motion. And are we all comfortable at this point in time setting these things in motion?
Mike?
And I'm gonna talk as a resident. First off, do we even have, is the plan done to say where any of these buildings are gonna go right now? Do we even know?
No,
Okay, so
part of the whole concept.
if this committee is there to look at building the building, number one of the biggest indices of that is gonna be where you're gonna put at it, because building a building over there is gonna be a lot different than building a building over here.
Totally agree.
So being as someone that would like to be a part of that, it sounds like a waste of my time. Because until we know how this is going to be set up and where that building's going to be, how are we going to plan and
Let
work
me
on that?
Answer that question. We don't know where that building is. We know there are issues with water here, but we've got to look into those issues. How much would it cost to ameliorate that situation? Does the septic system work?
So is that going to be part?
That is going
Are
to be-
you part of the plan? I think that's already run. Isn't Holly working on setting up something for the
No, this would be,
complex?
this is the next stage, is if we look at the whole Center Village concept,
Yeah.
that would be part of that concept. And so
So-
that's,
We aren't even to the part where we've decided where the whole administrative building and this little complex of ours is going to be, right?
I don't think we've solved that problem.
So it just seems to me that it's a little bit of a cart before the horse. Because if we really don't know, unless you're gonna say, well, plan for something over there, plan for something over here, almost kind of a waste of time. Now, I don't care, and I'm speaking as a resident. I don't really care if people want to come and waste their time for that, but I think we need to get that plan. And if we're going by the plan that's being set for us, so we know where it's gonna be at that point in time, I feel I would be highly motivated, say, okay, we know it's gonna be here. this is where we want that town hall, this is where we want the facility. Boom, then you start working on that instead of, I don't know, it's almost like working on hypotheticals. And really, is that something that we want to form a committee to do? And are you going to find people willing to sit in that committee and say, well, these are just hypotheticals. How much is really all the work I'm going to put into it as a resident going to be taken into consideration when we're working on this stuff? I don't know, it's just something to think about.
Steve?
Yeah, well, also as a resident, I guess, we don't really even know how far we're gonna go with the idea of center village concept. So, I mean, it's in the new strategy plan, but I'd say we're miles from actually saying that that's something we want to do and what's the feasibility of doing that. There are lots of ways to get some flex space. You could get toilets over here for the guys and just go park a trailer over there, heat it, and put it under contract to get it pumped out. I don't know why they've been going without proper facilities, but go get one of those trailers parked, hook it up, and you're done with that problem. Check that box, right? Secondly, you can park a couple double wides out here. Once again, hook them up and create conference room space or offices.
Yeah.
Those things don't cost much, like the portable classrooms do.
Yeah.
So come up with, I think you ought to identify what your short-term critical needs are that are really preventing the township from getting done what we need to get done in the short term. Some of that is planning, some of that is having flex space, so we can do these things. But we don't need a room the size of a basketball court for a community meeting room. The church is building a new center in there that they got approved. They'll have even more space. And I know we can't always depend on Rocky and the team down there, but on the other hand, they provide a good infrastructure for us. And as a small township, I think we should be judicious before we plot into building permanent space. And but there's lots of ways, but I haven't really even heard it, other than they don't have toilets and a washroom. I haven't heard a better list of what other space would we like to have for, say, the next 2 years. Just put a 2-year horizon on it, and what would allow us to be more effective in what we do.
I tend to concur with this thought. I agree with Mike. I think that we need to do some more planning. And decide what do we need and where do we need it. And Steve's thoughts about critical needs. Yep, we've got some critical needs. Let's bandage some things up and keep plodding along as we can while we're working on some of these bigger questions. That's kind of where I am right now.
See, I look at it, we're just pushing it down the road. I look at other townships, smaller townships, Kingston, Berkshire, whatever. And at least they have a place to meet. Now, that's fine. And to answer your question though, Mike, part of that group was going to look at where is the best place to put it. I don't know.
But isn't that kind of stepping on the toes of what he's got going on that's trying to figure out where we're going to have these things? That's the kind of thing. It's almost like we're double hitting the work there. Because you guys are planning out, this is not only Center Village, but where, I mean, we haven't even talked about where this is going to be. We don't even know which side of the road we want it on. We're not even that far down the road. And you're right, that has been kicked down the road. No doubt about it. Should this have been decision made 5 years ago? Probably. I'm not here to judge, but whether it was or whether it wasn't, but that decision's got to be made really before you can focus in like that. At least on the kind of committee that I'm envisioning that you've told me you'd like to have here, which I don't think, and like Steve says, there is ways to bandage it. Go ahead.
Johnny?
I completely disagree with the idea of Band-Aid approaches. I've lived here for almost 30 years, and every time I see a Band-Aid fix, it lasts for at least 10 years before anybody starts talking seriously about it. I would hate to see, trailers put up in an area we're talking about trying to draw people to. Kind of, you know, if anything says two-bit town more than a trailer, I don't know what it is.
I disagree with that. These can be quite attractive, Johnny. We're not talking about a construction trailer, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I even see the need, quite honestly. I mean, we don't have a plan for what our vision is. Let's just say, get a plan in place for what you think infrastructure requirements are 10 years out. And then let's talk about how do we get to that? And that, you know, if you think we're gonna have a town center, great. I don't think many people in this town think we need a center village, right? We're not that big. We don't need the restaurant. I mean, so, you know, you may disagree with that and you guys can go look at your strategic plan. But I'm not sure where the funding is gonna come for that. And I don't think that we're that inhibited in how we operate today. I hear repeatedly about the poor guys across the street. I feel bad for them. We'll fix that problem. It's an easy fix.
So I think personally, I'm appealing to every point of view. I mean, I remember going to classes in school, honestly, in a mobile classroom. It was horrible. But then at the same time, I've seen some of these new portable restroom trailers that you can get, and they're much nicer than the classroom I went into, right? So, but personally, I can see this from every point of view. I think, Steve, at the end of what you just said, we're starting to kind of get into some meat and potatoes here. It's like, who's going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for it? And one of the things that we have focused on for a while now is that the money that's going to come for this kind of infrastructure development is going to come from commercial and industrial development within the township. It's not going to come from new houses. You know, that's just the way that the financial vehicles are worked. And so as we look at, you know, Dana and Holly's strategic plan, you know, it's going to be a number of years before we start to see any sort of income from
That's right.
commercial and industrial development. Now, to your point, Bob, I don't think that there's any error in determining what we want to do before we're ready to do it.
Yeah.
I guess my question would be this, John, at this point, what is the next step or stage in the strategic development?
I was not prepared to talk about this today.
Sure, and we don't need to get too deep into it. I think it's
So
just
we
determined.
set aside $250,000 for planning this year.
Mhm.
We also are going to be engaged with two municipalities to create a CETA agreement within the first 2 quarters of the year. Part of those agreements will include monies for planning that may also include planning expertise within those entities. And so the point being, I believe that we will have internal and external resources to engage in serious planning. I think that this board should send out a request for services to plan. I think we need to plan the next strategic phase that could be for a holistic view of the township, and in particular for Center Village. That could be a minimal plan for Center Village. It could be a maximal plan for Center Village. But those dollars, I think, well spent over the next year or two will help us grapple with what the potentialities are. To Steve's point, this planning has to be backed up with good economic numbers. And so the township should also hire a law firm to help us generate those numbers. What are the economic tools actually going to provide for us? Can we actually support this vision that we are now putting on paper and et cetera? So it has to be aligned with what's actually feasible by the potential commercial and light industrial growth and whatever residential funds are presented. And then that needs to also be accented by good communication to the township. And so I'm not against the township hiring some marketing, say, strategic communications firm to help us liaison well to our community as we walk through this process, so that we're not doing it in a vacuum, and we're not doing it secretly, and we're doing it with good information from our residents and aligned with their values and what they want to see as well. My plan is in the January meeting to have this all on paper and say, hey, here's what I think this looks like over the next year or two. So, and that's why I'm not against saying, hey, we've got short-term needs, let's meet them. Let's get that trailer out there next week. Why not? For the guys.
Oh, I've already looked into that and I've talked to them about that. For $12,000, you can get
Do it.
it's a portable bathroom.
Those are beautiful.
That is not the critical need.
No, but it's a need.
But okay, I am comfortable if within the next 6 months, we are able to get a CETA agreement. I am comfortable with tabling this discussion for 6 months. We've done it, we've tabled it
So-
for 6 years. So
But
another
Joey-
it's not going to matter.
Yeah, we can't keep, Joni, I completely agree with you. We can't keep just pushing this down the road. And that's why we need to set monies aside for real. And we need you saying, hey, quit kicking this can down the road. I completely agree with you. But let's do it well.
So Bob,
Yeah, I'm comfortable, 6 more months isn't gonna make a major difference one way or another.
this is precisely the compromise I was going to propose, is specifically based on what John's statement about the potential for CETAs to be presented within the first 2 quarters of the year.
Yeah.
So if we can, please make it a priority in June or July to represent this, and based on the current status.
You can be sure if.
I know I can count on
I
you.
would love to have that CETA
Yes,
For sure.
absolutely.
in place.
Dave has.
Okay?
Here, starting out with town hall building. Then we're going to, what's the plan? Where are we gonna put it? My hope is that as this proceeds over the next 6, 12, 18 months, that it's not about one building and we're going to find the building that fits the place, or we're going to carve a place out that doesn't really quite work for the building sort of thing. I'd like to see us look at buildings, have different kinds of purposes they can serve, and the size, the shape, the orientation, how it works, needs to be guided by our ideas of what we want there. It's not just maybe a business office, or is it maybe a business office? Maybe we want there for support services to be there. How about storage? Do we want a lot of storage? How does all of this fit together? And what kind of space are we beginning to look at? And to get people to start talking about the kinds of functions, the kind of services they want to see from a town hall building. And work from that so that we have always several options out there. It's not, we've chosen this, now we'll make it work. It's, we can listen to people. If you choose this, I'm afraid I want us to see options there.
I concur. Just in that quick conversation, it quickly turned into talking about a town hall committee to all the different facilities we need just in this right square mile. So that it is definitely a much larger conversation. I think a lot of those things need to be taken into account. There were a couple other notes on here. We talked about Parks and Communications Committee stipend. Did we need to have a discussion on the responsibilities for each trustee?
I would say that we can either address that now or at our 21st meeting. It doesn't.
Have those responsibilities typically been identified by resolution, or have they just kind of been informally discussed amongst the trustees? Only reason I say that is because my first appointment last year, I technically filled Trustee Yeager's seat, who had filled Jerry's seat, which was typically responsible to the cemeteries. When John was appointed, he and I discussed via phone him taking over responsibility of that, based almost exclusively on his pastoral experience. And I think that was probably one of the best ideas I've ever had. So,
But you understand that I quickly delegated that to Jason and.
correct. And so that's the natural evolution of that, is the staff is more or less taking control of a lot of these things at this point. So I don't know that formal appointment of these responsibilities is necessary. You know, Dave has graciously let us know that he will help to assist with roads and things like that. So, I mean,
I like a trustee having ultimate accountability, so that there's a line of accountability, so that if Ashley or Jason encounter an issue, they can reach out to trustee Trainer and say, hey, can you help us with this specifically? And we've done that a couple times this year with fees and special requests that have come in. So I do like the idea of just having this overarching, hey, this trustee is accountable for this area of the township in a general sort of way, that there's a line of calm and.
And I agree. My own question is, by next meeting, coming up with what areas we want, you know, for that individual. to be responsible.
yeah, I think we can make that a topic for the next regular meeting.
Let's be completely honest, I'll be the one reaching out to all of you. I'm the one that does cemeteries, I'm the one that does facilities,
The hub.
you know, so I would just like to know, you know, if there is something with cemetery, so I'm not sending it to all of you and you're all
Right.
responding separately.
That's right.
Because, you know, we
Yeah.
can't group chat, so
Yeah.
I have 3 different people responding about the same issue and it just gets just a mess. So if I know I'm going to, you know, John for cemeteries, I'm going to Adam for facilities, you're the one for roads, like, I just think that for me and my office is helpful. Also, I field tons of calls that you guys never get. It will help me to know who to field those to. So I don't think it has to be decided right now, but I would like it sooner than later
Sure.
for my sanity.
And I think it needs to be a little more fluid than that, because I don't think you guys need to, you know, split it down where you do this, you do this, you do this. I think that some of the bigger things like roads, maintenance, those can go collectively, or cemetery collectively. But there are things that come up, at least as far as I'm concerned, that I should be able to talk to either one of you, and all 3 of you, or individually, one of you guys about, and not be handcuffed to, "Ooh, Bob happens to be on vacation. Bob's the one I'm supposed to talk
Sure.
to about this." You know, it's just,
Well, and some of the things that we did last year were to try to improve the autonomy of the township departments, right? Like creating the departmental budget so you guys didn't have to come to the board for every single purchase and financial responsibility. So I think that that's right. I think we need to continue to make it as the speed to business and speed to response for the residents' sake is probably, you know, what needs to drive the whole conversation. So, yeah, I think we can add that to the agenda for the next meeting, Ashley. Bob, you have something on Rumpke?
Yeah, we talked briefly about it last meeting. Effective the 1st of January, a few days ago, Rumpke has basically offered a preferred resident discount. The township is not entering into a contract themselves, but Rumpke and this, I want to put on in the newsletter, you're looking at $21 a month, and they will provide a 95-gallon cart with that. It's billed to you just like regular. There will be a $2 discount for senior citizens. If by April, I think it is.
April 1st.
April 1st, 200 residents, and again, this will be in the newsletter, so that if 200 residents want recycling, there would be an additional charge of $7 a month for recycling. And that, again, that's an option, but they need 200 households to agree that they want that to cover their costs.
just to clarify, Bob, you're saying that just those 200 would be tied to that extra $7.
Yeah. All of these are à la carte for any specific resident. The township, you know, again, is not, if 150 people sent in, you know, they don't feel it's worth doing. So it's just, you know, what you want. I mean, if you're happy and $21 a month, you know, doesn't appeal to you now and you've got another vendor, you know, so be it. No one is required. It will, the phone number will be in the newsletter. What you would do simply is to call that number and indicate that you would like to be on Harlem Township preferred resident. Right, so it's,
If I'm a current Rumpke customer,
they will
Should I
give you
call
a
in?
credit, yes, call in,
okay,
and they are supposed to credit you for anything more that you are paying now, like, you know, if you, like we paid, we're Rumpke, and we paid for ours in December for the next quarter. They said they will adjust that, and
so be sure to encourage current customers to call in.
yeah,
To be part
and
of that.
again, this will be spelled out,
Great.
you know, in the newsletter. So,
That's great.
Done that. Called in, just so we can get an idea how hard or easy it is to get on Harlem Township.
And
Well, they couldn't find the contract at first.
Right.
And then they finally found it, and then I questioned about if I needed the additional cart, and they said it was gonna be $3.50.
for a recycling cart,
No, for a regular 95.
So that you would have two.
if you wanted,
If I wanted.
oh, if you want an additional one, they said it would we'll go for the $3.50.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the additional $7 is technically adding recycling service, but we won't have that until after April 1st. If before April 1st, 200 people say, yeah, I will pay for that once it's available. That's what that additional $7. And then there's another paragraph that was included in our packet that says if people want an additional recycling cart, so two 65-gallon recycling carts would be an additional $7. So basically, if 200 people in the first 3 months say, yeah, I want recycling, and you decide that you want two 65-gallon recycling carts, it would be $14 a month for biweekly recycling. That's what I read.
I'm not sure.
It's confusing because it's a separate paragraph for some reason.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
recycling is an
that
additional,
cart may do for
right, for a second recycling cart.
right, so.
Or
I don't know, they did not say, I don't believe in how much a second regular cart.
And this was,
So you're saying it's
That's what
$3.50?
they told.
and that's a good point because that's the one question that came to my mind. I do not have Rumpke currently. I have the other one, and they'll pick up the 95-gallon that they provided and one that belongs to me
Okay,
at no additional cost. So I just want to I'm curious if, you know, if we put out a can that we personally own, if Rumpke's just going to leave it there full of trash.
and again, this is understood, this is between you and Rumpke as far as.
Oh yeah, we're just
you
setting up
know,
a preferred vendor.
We're doing it simply as a township, to offer. They are looking into whether there will be a senior discount or not a discount. Well, there is a $2 senior discount, but whether they will go up to the house and actually take the cart from the house. So, but they're looking into whether that.
That's a heck of a deal.
I agree.
How old is he?
I mean, we're paying, I just asked Marcia, we're paying, maybe we're getting hosed and not paying attention, but we're paying 120 a quarter right now.
Yeah,
So I,
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
I already have a Rumpke, so.
That's the way it's been.
Well, so
already
when we were looking, they said that I would have to, if it had anybody else's name on the side.
Yeah.
Spray painted black.
yeah.
And then they would,
The other one that I have just came from a big box home improvement store, so it doesn't have a name on it, but yeah, they just picked it up. But yeah, Steve, I'm with you because my current provider a number of months ago astronomically raised the rate, so I called to cancel. And they were like, oh, well, look, we can do this for you and drop the rate in half.
Yeah.
Like Spectrum.
But it's still not as cheap as what Rumpke is offering us. And so, Bob, I appreciate you doing a lot of the legwork on this. My favorite part is that it doesn't lock anybody into anything.
Yeah.
So,
that was the big thing. I mean, we had looked at this 8 years ago or so. The concern was some people everyone would have had to been on the program. Even if you had a business and you put it in your dumpster or you didn't, put out trash, you gave it to your neighbor, and whatever it was. But everyone was in the township would have had to been on it, and it was a contract. You couldn't go with any other service, just that. So this is a program, another township had been offered a couple of years ago that through research, we found out. And so this is the program that we're offering. We'll run through soft.
Good stuff. Okay, Chief, review board.
The state of Ohio Fire Marshal's Office has a dependency fund that gives awards for injuries and line of duty deaths. All the fire departments pay a prorated fee based on their actions based on the township's assessed value. And every year we have to appoint a board review. So should something, God forbid, happen, that board review, I present the prima facie to the board review and they say, yes, it's legitimate, or yeah, it was, the accident, was the employer's fault, the employee's fault or whatever. And then you present that to the fire marshal's office and then they will give the family a cash stipend, like a lot of duty death stipend or whatever. It's just another tool for that. So I would like to propose you approve this. I put the two senior board members on, my two senior lieutenants, and then Tom Vincent, who is a resident but also had served on the fire department for many years as the review board.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Ashley.
Holday,
Aye.
Trainer.
Aye.
Thank you, Chief.
Have we ever, is this new or?
Oh, we've been doing this for years.
Yeah,
One of the
and we've
things-
never used it that I'm
No.
aware of.
No.
Okay, yeah.
One of the things that we had issues with is the billing. Lisa and I've got that all figured out because I had the same problem that it was this and now it's twice a year instead of once a year. So we've got that all figured out in this year's budget. So
I'll ask for a motion on resolution 039, approval of the trustee minutes from the December 17th, 2025 regular meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Yeah, you'll see it in there. I was able to get the name for the plots, so you know.
Great, that's great. Thank you, Ashley. Before we go to comments, if there are any, could you also please add to the agenda for the next regular meeting and executive session so that we can discuss the stipend? I would do it right now, but I don't have the language for executive session in front of me, so want to make sure we do that correctly. Any public comments? Going thrice. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everybody.